All right, so diving into today's self-healing session, I worked with a beautiful volunteer. Her name was Emily, and there are so many things that I just loved about this session. First and foremost, of course, results. I love watching people get results that just blows their mind, where they can see a radical shift in their physical body. And that, of course, is something that happened as I was working with Emily. And the issue that she had was this, is that she had unfortunately been hit by a car a few years back. And so she had a lot of surgeries, and she was suffering with spinal stenosis, and she had a lot of also stiffness in her body. And that was one of the biggest things that she was challenged with, was getting up and walking, and she was feeling very hunched over and unable to stand up fully. Now, what was beautiful is that as we started to identify specific links in the subconscious mind and shift them, she was able to then stand up all of the way and increase her mobility and started walking around even more as we were on the session. So that's what is fun, and that's what I love. And of course, by the way, if this sounds impossible to you, I get it. So if so, I strongly recommend looking at my published work in the medical journal, where you can see shifts where people are releasing pain, and I see all kinds of things, radical changes all of the time. It's truly incredible what we are capable of. So you hear me all of the time use the example of multiple personality disorder and the awareness that people with multiple personalities can actually have different illnesses in different personalities. So just keeping in mind, I know it might sound impossible to make such a radical shift during one session in a short period of time, but the things that I get to see are incredible. And of course, not because I'm so incredible. Yes, I'm incredible. You're incredible. We're all truly incredible beings. And so that was, of course, something that I loved watching and seeing her do that. Now, another thing that I really loved was her sense of humor. Like, she had me laughing. We were laughing half of the session, which was fun and sweet. And don't get me wrong, there were also tears. So there were also points where she was laughing and crying at the same time, several of them, because what happened is I started to bring up some of the vulnerable points that were going on. And she is just such a strong woman, and she has spent her life really suppressing so much hurt that as soon as I mentioned certain topics, she was surprised. She goes, "Wow, I can't believe tears are coming up." And she was in tears. And some of those topics had to do with feelings of feeling unloved. And that's part of what I want to share with you today. So there are two key insights that I want to share, and is this. First and foremost, there was a feeling as though she was unloved and kind of taken advantage of, uncared for. And part of what happened is, as we started really looking at certain situations, she was able to see things from the other side. And what was beautiful is that, so often when people get in an argument, they might only see things from their own perspective. But as we started looking at her brother's perspective, she started to open her heart more, and she could see that, even though things weren't perfect, that he cared. And that was beautiful, is that she could start to see the other side, and in doing so, it was helpful for her heart, her happiness, just it started to help her to be able to shift. So she started being able to move better even after shifting that, because there was a lot of anger and hurt. And so that's one thing. Now, another insight is this, and it's so counterintuitive. And it's this. It's that as we were talking about this topic with her brother, I pointed out to her, I said, notice for a moment, there's the feeling of feeling almost like you want him to see how bad he hurt you. Like, look what you did to me. And she said, oh my gosh, like it was just this feeling, this epiphany, because she could see it there. And that's an insight. And she hadn't realized that that was even there, but that's the insight that I want to share with you, is exactly that, is that so often if somebody's hurt by somebody, what can happen in the subconscious mind is there can be this feeling that somebody says, look at how bad you hurt me. So there's a part of them that wants to show somebody else how bad they were hurt and just how badly they're suffering. Now, then what happens is, I know this is extremely counterintuitive, but then their feeling that feeling of wanting to suffer. And even as I mentioned this, Emily goes, oh my gosh, this is exactly how I feel. It's like I'm mad and hurt by him. And it's like I'm drinking the poison myself, so to speak, because that's what she wanted him to see, that she was going through this hard time and struggling. And of course, she wasn't consciously aware of this. She's also simultaneously just this strong woman who wants to survive and thrive. But at a subconscious level, it was that feeling that said, but look at what you've done to me type of feeling. And so what was also beautiful is, of course, as she started to shift that, she was able to release even more of that weight off of her shoulders when she started walking upright even more. And so these are two of the insights that I want to share is exactly that. Is number one is that sometimes a person can be so stuck in their own perspective, and I think we've probably all been there at some point in time, but if you look at another person's perspective, sometimes that can offer relief or a different way to look at things, to really start feeling in a different way. And so that was a really helpful, powerful insight. And then, of course, those subconscious, counterintuitive links, because if you think about it for a moment, if at a subconscious level, if Emily wants her brother to see her suffering and to see, look at how bad she is, then on a subconscious level, she wants her condition to be in a negative state. Now, of course, this is subconscious. She didn't even realize it was there until I mentioned it. And also, she wouldn't be here reaching out, trying to heal herself if she wanted to be injured consciously. And so it's so tricky working with the mind. But what is beautiful, again, is she was able to see that radical shift. Now, of course, as you'll hear me say all of the time, it does take a real change. So I asked her to make sure to follow through to really get this new way of thinking, feeling ingrained in her mind. Now, there are also other insights as well. And so if you are wanting to listen to that actual session with Emily, the link is in the show notes. And of course, if you are somebody who would like a deeper level of understanding of mind-body healing, there's also a link for a free training in the show notes as well. So those are the insights that I want to share. And as always, please do take just a quick moment to hit the share button on this episode. Share it with somebody you love, somebody you care about, or somebody you don't even know, because the more that every single person in our world feels healthy and happy and loved and loving, the better this world is for all of us. And so please do take just a quick moment to hit the share button, and please do make a point to have a most wonderful, incredible rest of your day. And I look forward to connecting with you on the next episode. We'll see you there.